All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, Again, my name is Jay, and today's topic is I'm giving up caffeine
forever.
First off, let me say that I was never really a coffee drinker to begin with. I always hated the taste and how it made my stomach feel. But what had happened was, after a few decades of working at jobs that I didn't like and taking on my adult responsibilities, I started habitually drinking coffee, not unlike habitually drinking alcohol or habitually smoking cigarettes, to make me feel a certain way. I had to go to work, which meant that I was gonna have to go do things that I didn't want to in exchange for money. Caffeine is supposed to put a pep in your step, right? And naturally, when I didn't have a pep in my step, I drank coffee, having thoughts like, if a little is good, then more is even better, right?
Good with your order.
Venti espresso, please. But then one day I thought to myself, isn't it amazing how ineffective coffee is when you hate your job? I swore I could drink a whole pot of coffee and go straight to sleep instead of having to work for a 12-hour shift on top of already being hungover. I wanted to stop drinking coffee because I honestly didn't feel like I was getting more of the benefits than I was side effects. The side effects for me included losing sleep when I drank coffee too late in the day, stomach pains and irregular bowel movements, anxiety, and having more ADHD types of racing, aimless thoughts. Chest pains, yes, chest pain from coffee. Numbness and coldness in my hands and feet, yeah, and the chest pain. Kind of scary, right? Oh, and don't forget the breath. Nobody likes coffee breath. And did I mention still having no more motivation to do anything? And coffee tastes like Yeah, I said it. Yes, I know, taste is subjective. You can feel free to believe that coffee tastes good. You're just wrong, that's all. Really what I was looking for was consistent energy throughout the day and to be able to be me for free. No more spending $5 at Starbucks for 25 cents worth of ingredients. No more spending $10 on a bag of freshly ground beans every time I go to the grocery store. If I were going to the gym, eating healthy, and getting to bed at a reasonable hour, why shouldn't I have consistent energy throughout the day? And knowing from having given up drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes, I realized a long time ago that what I was really craving was an escape. I was just looking for a break. Because after all, we spent our whole adult life associating toxic behaviors with breaks. A cigarette break, a coffee break, and when it's all done, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, time for a drink. People that quit drinking oftentimes just swap out one addiction for another. A lot of people who quit drinking, for example, naturally turn to consuming something else like marijuana, cigarettes, excessive sweets, junk food, and or caffeine. Anything that'll help them deal with alcohol cravings, meanwhile developing new cravings for a new dopamine release. Dopamine, as we know, activates pleasure centers in the brain. Drugs like opiates and amphetamines manipulate dopamine levels by slowing down the rate of dopamine reabsorption. Caffeine increases dopamine levels in the same way. I'll say that again. Caffeine increases dopamine levels the same way as opiates and amphetamines. Its effects are much weaker, of course, but the mechanism is still the same. Researchers suspect that this dopamine connection is what contributes to caffeine addiction. So you can see why your body might like caffeine in the short term, especially if you're low on sleep and need to remain active. Caffeine blocks adenosine reception so that you feel alert. It injects adrenaline into the system to give you a boost, and it manipulates dopamine production to make you feel good. Sound familiar? Caffeine's effects on the brain causes increased neuron firing. The pituitary gland senses this activity and thinks that some sort of emergency must be happening, so it releases hormones to tell the adrenal glands to produce adrenaline, also known as epinephrine. Adrenaline, remember, is the fight or flight hormone, and it has a number of effects on your body, such as your pupils dilate, the airway opens up. This is why people suffering from severe asthma attacks are sometimes injected with epinephrine. Your heart beats faster. Blood vessels on the surface constrict to slow blood flow from cuts and increase blood flow to the muscles. Blood pressure rises. Blood flow to the stomach slows down. The liver releases sugar into the bloodstream for extra energy, and muscles tighten up, ready for action. This explains why, After consuming a big cup of coffee, your hands get cold, your muscles grow tense, you feel excited, and your heart beats faster. Caffeine can cause a vicious cycle of problems in the long term. For example, once caffeine-induced adrenaline wears off, you face fatigue and depression, kind of like with alcohol. Another cup of coffee or energy drink can get the adrenaline flowing again, but having your body in a state of emergency, jumpy and irritable all day long isn't healthy. So, this begins my personal breakup with caffeine, and to be honest, I'm perfectly all right with it. Happy even.
Hot potato.
The way I look at things now is that it's just one less thing for me to worry about. One less thing to waste money on, and one less thing to keep me from losing sleep, and one less thing keeping me from being and feeling my best. And of course, I'll make a follow-up video to this after a month to report whatever progress I notice. So make sure that you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. And with that, I want to wish you good luck on your journey into good health, and I will see you in the next video.